Hey everybody, welcome back or to the channel. My name's Mike, and today we're going to take a look at a subject that I've been wrestling with for several weeks. The politics of the YSL case. The bias of the court against the defense team, either perceived or actual, in allowing constant late discovery to be admitted has raised eyebrows more than once in this case. Why is this happening? And what could be the solution to this problem? To understand the politics of the YSL case, we need to start where all stories start, at the beginning. Paul Howard made history as the first African American elected as the district attorney in Georgia back in 1996. He was voted out of office after more than 2 decades as Fulton County's district attorney, losing to the now current DA, Fani Willis. Howard campaigned on a 70% drop in violent crime and a 50% reduction in county jail population. However, this was not enough to overcome the allegations of harassment and other allegations by 3 past and present female employees. Fast forward to today. The current DA, Fani Willis's time as DA, has been plagued by allegations of misconduct herself, which have been well documented in the media. Some of the allegations include hiring her then-boyfriend Nathan Wade and paying him a breathtaking $653,880 to be the special prosecutor of the Trump RICO case since taking the job in 2021. This is huge. Her paramour was paid the big bucks, way more than the average everyday worker. In an election year, voters need to pay attention to this. He was paid all this money despite having zero experience trying RICO cases in the past. There was testimony regarding $1,300 for airline tickets that Wade bought for himself, Fani, and Wade's mother to travel abroad. Statements also show that more than $8,000 in charges for cruises were paid by Wade for him and Fani to travel while he was employed by the Fulton County DA's office, overseen by Fani. Willis and Wade both defend their actions and insist there was no wrongdoing on either of their parts, and that the relationship had ended back in 2023, despite the fact that the two of them were seen showing up to the scene of Willis's daughter's arrest for driving on a suspended license on August 24th of 2024. We have body cam video of the event on my channel, and I'm going to link the card above so that you can take a look at that video after you've watched this one. While crime was on the decline pre-pandemic in Atlanta, there was a sharp spike in 2020. In 2019, the number of homicides in Atlanta was 99. In 2020, it was 157. While the violent crime rate is trending down, it's still not back down to pre-pandemic levels. So you should sympathize with the city of Atlanta and its citizens for wanting to get these violent offenders off the street and make their communities safe to raise their families. You cannot blame them for supporting a DA who's showing that she's tough on crime, can you? This is why Fani won the Democratic nomination with 87% of the vote in 2024. The voters of Atlanta obviously like and support the job she's doing to try to make their city safer, or at least safer despite any allegations of alleged wrongdoing. In 2015, there was a drive-by shooting that killed a rival gang member, Donovan Big Nut Thomas, in which Thug is accused of renting the car used in the shooting. The Fani Willis DA's office is alleging that Young Thug's record label, YSL, Young Slime Life, is acting as a front for a criminal enterprise. The DA's office also alleges that YSL is also affiliated with the Bloods National Street Gang and participated in other gang activities such as armed robberies, carjacking, drug sales, and shootings. Prosecutors claim that YSL is a criminal gang and that Jeffrey Williams, aka Young Thug, is leading the charge. Prosecutors are using lyrics from Young Thug's songs as evidence to support the gang claims. The charges are brought under the Racketeering, Influence, and Corrupt Organizations Act, known as RICO. What is RICO, you ask? The Racketeering, Influence, and Corrupt Actions Act is a federal law that was passed in 1970 to fight organized crime. RICO allows the government to prosecute people for their involvement in a criminal enterprise, even if they did not directly commit the crimes. Young Thug also faces individual charges related to alleged gang activity, drug possession, and firearms violations as well. In the original indictment, only counts 1 and 56. So, Fonnie Willis is attempting to bring down the spike in crime by prosecuting Young Thug and other associates with YSL using the RICO Act. However, the previous DA, Paul Howard, looked at the evidence gathered by the investigators at the time and felt there was not enough evidence to prosecute and win this case. Let me repeat, not enough. There are others that feel Fonnie could have done more to lower crime in Fulton County by prosecuting this case individually, rather than bringing this sprawling RICO case. So let's take a little trip to New Mexico, and we're going to take a look at the Rust trial against Alec Baldwin. There are some similarities between Mr. Baldwin's case and the YSL trial. We have a famous man on trial for the shooting of someone. Baldwin was holding a prop gun that discharged, killing the cinematographer Helena Hutchins and seriously injuring the director Sousa. Early in the trial, the case was thrown out due to a Brady violation of evidence. But why? Well, let's take a look at what Brady evidence is. Brady evidence is any information that is favorable to the defendant in a criminal case and that the prosecution is required to disclose to the defense. The term comes from the 1963 Supreme Court case Brady v. Maryland. Brady evidence can include information that directly opposes guilt, information that negates an element of the charged offense, information that supports defense testimony, information that supports an affirmative defense, information that supports a defense motion, information that would reduce the defendant's sentence, information that would impeach the credibility of a prosecution witness, and finally, information that would allow a jury to infer against the defendant's guilt. The prosecution has a constitutional duty to disclose Brady evidence regardless of whether the defense requests it. If a Brady violation occurs during a trial, the court can declare a mistrial or prohibit the prosecution from using certain evidence. The defendant may be able to use Brady violations to get their case dismissed or get a conviction overturned. In the Rust case, the state investigators did not properly share with the defense that a man had delivered a box of ammunition purportedly connected to the case to investigators. And that's it. Game over for the state. The judge, Mary Marlowe Summer, ruled that the state, in fact, should have made that evidence available to the defense and that that box of ammo did, in fact, constitute evidence that would have been beneficial to the defendant's case, and she granted the motion to dismiss with prejudice, meaning the case cannot be brought again. Now, as we return to the great state of Georgia and we land in the courtroom of Earl Glanville, back just a few short months ago, where a secret ex parte meeting between Judge Earl Glanville, prosecutors, and Kenneth Lil Woody Copeland took place on June 10th, 2024. No members of the defense team were invited to this ex parte meeting. The meeting included Judge Glanville, prosecutors from the Fulton County District Attorney's Office, Lil Woody, and his attorney, Kayla Bumpus, who, by the way, is not a member of the defense team, but represented Lil Woody during his testimony. Defense counsels were not aware of this meeting and were not included. During the meeting, Copeland told Judge Glanville and others that he had never been truthful ever in his life until just that moment. He also said that he did not understand what was going on and did not want his family to hear about it. During the meeting, prosecutors told Copeland that he could be jailed until all the defendants had their cases adjudicated if he refused to testify. This process could take years. You might ask, who objected? Well, Brian Steele, the attorney for Young Thug, objected to the meeting and filed a motion to recuse Judge Glanville. Steele argued that defense attorneys had the right to be present during the meeting. Well, what happened after the meeting? The secret meeting led to the recusal of Judge Glanville. The trial was paused indefinitely. The defense attorneys filed motions to recuse the judge. Superior Court Judge Rachel Krause granted the removal of Judge Glanville, and the transcript of the secret meeting was eventually released. The ex parte meeting between Judge Glanville, the state, and Lil Woody was about pressuring Lil Woody to testify in the trial of rapper Young Thug. The secret ex parte meeting was an example of a Brady violation because it involved the withholding of evidence that could have helped the defense. Was the motion for a mistrial granted? No. Well, why not? Why was there enough evidence to have Earl Glanville removed, but not enough evidence to declare a mistrial? A white celebrity in New Mexico pulls the trigger on a pistol and took a person's life, and yet is set free. Fast forward to Atlanta, a black celebrity who did not pull the trigger on any weapon and was not present during any of the crimes stated so far in this case, and the case keeps on trucking. It is enough to make your head spin. So where do we go from here? How do we fix this? I'd like to offer solutions rather than just complaining about something. Even if the suggestions are ridiculous to some, at least we're trying to improve the situation rather than just complaining about it. First, voters of Fulton County need to stand up and demand that their elected officials live by a higher standard. Second, vote to make a change, period. It's the one thing all politicians pay attention to, and that's votes. Third, we need to look at what legislation can the people of Fulton County and the state of Georgia put in place to regulate the abuses of power that allegedly have and continue to occur in this case in the DA's office as well as with the court. The YSL case holds the political future of many. There are rumblings in and around Fulton County that Paige Whitaker has her eye on a role within the Georgia Supreme Court someday. If she were to torpedo the largest case ever brought in the state of Georgia, those dreams might be dashed. Some believe that Fani aspires to higher office as well, perhaps running for Congress or even a Senate seat in Washington. There are those who believe that if Kamala Harris were to become president, she might give Fani a position in her administration, even a cabinet seat. If any of those scenarios happens, it's believed by many that the assistant district attorney, Adrian Love, would be the heir apparent to fill Fani's shoes in the DA's office. However, others in the DA's office may have alternative plans, like ADA Simone Hilton. She may have eyes on the DA's seat herself. Oftentimes, we don't look around the corner to see how all the puzzle pieces connect into one big picture. With a witness list that grows by the day, it seems to many that the state is in no real hurry to bring this case to a close anytime soon. They're getting political mileage from this case. They know they can't win it, But winning was never the primary goal. Career advancement was. This case is merely a stepping stone for those to move up a peg or two with their political aspirations. It is a multifaceted problem, which is to say there's more than one issue with this case. It's not just political corruption or race. There's lots of tiny little details that are driving this case. The last thing this case is about, in my opinion, is the safety of the residents of Fulton County and the reduction in crime. We will continue to watch the details of this case, and I will update you as the story evolves. I could be mistaken. I often am. Just ask my wife. So tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. And thank you for watching.